Hey everybody, what's up? Thought I'd kind of give you a bit of a review of the Transformers G1 reissued Ramjet. Now I know a lot of you probably are wondering who is Ramjet. Well, obviously that shouldn't be a question if you ask me, but for anybody that is in the new when it comes to Transformers, Ramjet in what is known as G1 or Generation 1 was introduced during the second season of the cartoon, basically around 85, if you will. Basically around the 85-86 season. That's when he was introduced. He was also introduced with two other cone heads, if you will. I can't think of the names right now, but basically they were introduced as basically the second season equivalent of the first three Decepticon jets. And of course we all know the first three were Starscream, Thundercracker, and Skywarp. So we pretty much knew who those three were. And when these three came on board, not only did it add, storyline-wise, more jet power or more flight to the Decepticon arsenal, to the Decepticon army, but it also kind of gave you an idea that the original trio, if you will, the original trio's time was coming to an end, if you know what I mean. So, obviously that is why they were introduced. I'm trying to make sure I get a lot of the information right, get the other two names, two other characters that were associated with him right here. But anyway, like I said, he was introduced in the second season along with two other guys, again being the equivalent of what was going to be, like I said, the new flight trio for the Decepticons. Because as we all know, when the movie came out, you only had two main, kind of like planes or flight modes, if you will, in Scourge and Cyclonus. Yeah, you had Cyclonus' clone, you had the sweeps, you had all those characters. But the thing was, these guys were basically, like I said, this guy, Thrust and Dirge. Basically, they were dubbed by fans as the Coneheads. But Thrust and Dirge, along with Thrust and Dirge, were basically, like I said, the Season 2 answer to Starscream, Thundercracker, and Skywarp. But again, as I said, kind of gave you an idea that Thundercracker, Starscream, and Skywarp's time in the franchise was coming to an end. So, again, it kind of gave you that idea that they were coming to an end at the time, and that's why these guys were introduced. But what was funny about this is in the 1986 movie, we know the original trio of Starscream, Skywarp, and Thundercracker are killed off. Well, basically, Starscream's the only one really killed. Skywarp and Thundercracker, they're dead, but they're resurrected as, I think, Scourge and Cyclonus' clone. But what's funny about this, again, like I said, is these guys, Ramjet, Thrust, and Dirge, what's funny about this is that they survived all the way up until the end of the movie when they got swallowed up by Unicron. But then here's another thing. They reappear in the Five Faces of Darkness in, I think, part 1 one, as well as at the end of part 5, where they die again. And then they reappear in the episode Ghost in the Machine, and probably some various other episodes as well. So these guys have had basically, within that span and of 1986, 87, had a on and off situation when it came to being dead or alive. Now, Ramjet did appear, in, I think, in another incarnation, in another different design with Armada, I believe. So, yeah, they did appear. But Ramjet in Armada was a mini-con. So, yeah, he was a mini-con is what he was. And in Universe, he's one of the ultra vehicles, or micro vehicles, if you will. And his Cybertron toy is basically very similar to what he is now, but a little different. This is his Revenge of the Fallen toy. Again, basically the similarity is the color scheme. That's all it is. And this is Fast Action Battle toy right there. Like I said, the color scheme is the only thing very similar. Transformers animated. He's one of the Starscream clones or activators. And he's basically a liar. And they don't show a toy for him. But anyway, this is how he was originally introduced to me and a lot of other fans that grew up with G1. And I really like the fact that, and I know I should have said this before, but I really like the fact that Hasbro has been, and they're currently still doing it, has been reissuing these guys in release. And the reissues that they got nowadays are more along the lines of like masterpieces and legends that are a little bit more bigger in scale and a little bit more expensive, but still, it's great to see these guys being re-released in some way or another. Now, the way he transforms, well, let me put it to you like this. If you haven't transformed a Transformer in a while like this, it's quite fun. I will say that it is quite fun. And it's very unusual, I'll say that. And it's easy to do. You just got to figure it out. So what we do, and also another thing I like is they got the little rub symbol right there, so you can, like the little thing you used to rub when you were a kid. I really like that they put that in there. That's pretty cool. So anyway, what you do, like I said, when you want to transform from jet mode to robot mode, is first of all you got to detach these rings a little bit because they do peg in. And what you want to do is take his guns off. And then you want to pull. And then what you want to do is you want to pull these legs out. Like so. Like that. You want to pull them out like that. And then take them apart, if you will. And then up here on top, what you want to do, perhaps if I move this a little bit more, you can get a better shot of what I'm trying to do here. Okay, also check my time while I'm at it. But again, what you want to do here is you want to open this up. This thing will open, and then this thing rotates, believe it or not. This thing here, this thing rotates. This nose cone rotates, and what you want to do is turn that around because that will reveal his head. If you're seeing that right, that will reveal his head. And then what you want to do is you want to push that down into there. You want to take his arms out first of all before you do anything, before you shut it up. Bring his arms out like so. Shut him up like that. Bring his hands out. Like I said, sometimes if you haven't done one like that, just bring his hands out like so. And then his feet are right here. Bring those down. Stand them up best you can. And I think if you want to really balance him, you just put his feet, put those things down, and then he's got big feet. There you go. Actually, yeah, these are kind of rotatable if you want to rotate the back wings, but usually just if you want to balance them very well, then yeah, you can flatten them. Okay, make sure everything is okay. Then you bring the wings down. I guess you bring these down. I'm not really sure how that works. I guess it doesn't work. I don't know. It's weird the way it is. It's weird the way they design the Transformers sometimes. So but yeah, basically that's kind of simplifying Ramjet right there. It's basically Ramjet right there. And then what you do, because you got the little pegs here on the side, put the guns in there, and pretty much there you go. There's Ramjet in his robot mode. If you can see that. There's Ramjet in his robot mode. So, yeah, there's Ramjet in his robot mode. I'm sorry for the blurriness. I think it's because of the reflection of the sun in here or something. But yeah, but there's Ramjet in his robot mode. And again, like I said, this guy along with Thrust and Dirge was introduced back when they did the season, or the second season. So but he's a very cool he's a very cool collector's item, I will say that. So it's definitely worth getting if you can find it. It's probably a little bit more expensive now because it's been out for a while. But definitely worth getting in the end. And his transformation back to robot mode and back to plane mode, basically you just got to do everything like you did to get him in a robot mode, but in reverse. So if you want to rewind this, kind of get the idea, you'll see what I mean. But yeah, that's basically yeah, it's basically Ramjet in a nutshell, if you will. It's basically Ramjet in a nutshell. So again, I'm sorry for the blurriness. You got this kind of the reflection of the sun in the background and a lot of whiteness around here. So I mean, you could see it's not too bad when you're like this, but when you're like that, it's kind of difficult. But yeah, that's Ramjet. And again, I like the fact that they, really when they reissued these, they did a great job in, really replicating what it was. And the fact that the plastic isn't that hard plastic that we had as kids, so that's kind of cool. I mean, it is plastic, but it's kind of more of a, kind of like a in between of a soft and a hard. So, kind of a just a plastic, but it's not too hard and it's not too soft. So that's Ramjet for you guys. The G1 reissue Transformers and Hasbro. Comment down below. Tell me what you guys think. Respond if you like. Again, I'm sorry about the blurriness, and I'll talk to you all later.